Am I the asshole for bringing my grandma's lawyer to the family meeting the morning after my dad publicly humiliated me at Thanksgiving without warning him what was coming?
Welcome to Popcornrest Stories. Today's story is a toast to Lado Soul style. Imagine your dad's, a retired trust, publicly browed you at Thanksgiving over your grandma's estate. He has no idea she left you her entire multi-thousand-dollar house and an asset in the secret trust. Let's dive in.
I'm 29. Last night my dad grounded me in front of 30 relatives and the whole room laughed at. I need to write this down because tomorrow morning is going to be significant and I want people to tell me if what I'm about to do is wrong. Some background that my dad is a retired judge. He is the kind of man who enters rooms expecting them to reorganize around him. And in my family, they always have. My brother followed him into law and is everything my dad wanted in a son, sharp, ambitious. Fluent in the language of precedent and professional reputation, I dropped out of law school 7 years ago to study landscape architecture. That my dad has not fully forgiven me for this. Not in a dramatic, explosive way, more in the way that means I am introduced at family events with a slight pause before my name. That my work is described as her little garden projects. That when real family decisions are made, I am informed rather than consulted. That my grandma was the exception. She never cared what I did for a living. She had a garden she loved, and we spent a lot of time in it together. When she got sick, she asked for me specifically to come and sit with her. And we talked for hours about things I haven't told anyone else in one of those conversations. Toward the end, she told me she had taken care of things. She said she had been watching my family for a long time, and she had made sure I would be okay. I didn't fully understand what she meant. I thought she was just being comforting that she died 6 weeks ago. Last night was Thanksgiving. 30 relatives, the full extended family, my dad at the head of the table being his most polished version of himself. He made an announcement after dinner. He said that the family would be gathering tomorrow morning to hear the details of my grandma's estate, and that he and my brother had been working with her lawyer to make sure everything was handled properly. Something about the way he said it felt off to me. The phrase her lawyer specifically, my grandma's lawyer was a man she had known for decades, and I couldn't picture my dad and my brother working warmly with him on anything, I asked. As calmly as I could, which lawyer they had been working with as my dad looked at me across the table and said, in front of 30 people, at full volume, that I was being difficult and that if I couldn't behave like an adult at a family dinner, I could consider myself grounded until I learned some respect as the table laughed. Not all of them, but enough that my brother smirked into his wine glass. I sat there for a moment. Then I excused myself, went upstairs, and called my grandma's actual lawyer. Here's what I should have told you earlier, that in one of our last conversations. My grandma asked me to write down a phone number. She didn't explain why. She just said, if anything ever feels wrong after I'm gone, call this first. It was her personal lawyer's number, not the family lawyer my dad had been referencing. Her own lawyer. The one she had worked with privately for years. I had called him once, the week after she died, just to introduce myself and ask if there was anything I needed to know. He told me there was, but that he wanted to wait for the right moment. He said he would know when it was. Last night after the dinner, I called him again and told him what had happened and what my dad had announced. He said, I think tomorrow morning is the right moment. He's coming to the meeting. I also have something else. 3 weeks ago, going through some old emails on a shared family account my grandma had set up years back that my dad apparently forgot existed, I found a thread between my dad and my brother. The emails are detailed. They discuss my grandma's estate, what they plan to do with it, and how to structure things so I am effectively excluded. They reference a document. They reference a timeline. I printed them. They are in a folder in my bag. Tomorrow morning my dad is planning to announce the terms of my grandma's will. He's expecting me to sit quietly and accept whatever he presents. So, am I the asshole for not warning him tonight about what's coming? Should I have given my brother a chance to back out? Is there a version of this where I'm handling it wrong? I genuinely want to know, because right now I feel calm in a way that concerns me slightly, and I want someone outside of this to check my thinking. Too long. Didn't read. My dad publicly grounded me at Thanksgiving in front of 30 relatives when I asked about my grandma's estate. He and my brother have been planning to exclude me from the inheritance. My grandma's actual lawyer is coming to the family meeting tomorrow morning. I have printed emails showing their plan. I haven't warned anyone. Am I the asshole? Edit. Reading all of this. To answer what keeps coming up, yes, I'm certain about the emails. Yes, my grandma's lawyer has seen them. Yes, he has advised me on exactly what they mean legally. The folder is ready at 2. It's midnight. Meeting is in 8 hours. Going to try to sleep. I'll update tomorrow.
So I'm literally trembling right now. The absolute nerve of this dad, his and his goddamn boy lawyer son really thought they could sit at the head of the table, smirk into their wine glasses, and completely erase Opie from their inheritance. They even laugh at her. But guess what? Opie has a secret photo full of her shady emails, and she's not walking into that family meeting alone. She is bringing her grandma's real personal lawyer as her Savage West one. They think they're about to run the room, but Master Reality checks it walking right through that door. Draft your book core guys can of this one a poor chess days.
Update 1. The next day, okay. So the meeting happened that my dad was already set up when I arrived. Documents on the table. The version of himself he performs for important occasions. Controlled. Authoritative. The retired judge who still expects the room to rise as she opened by saying he was going to share the terms of my grandma. As the state as her executor and that he trusted. Everyone would receive the news with the maturity and respect the occasion deserved. I think that last part was directed. That means he started talking. I let him get about 3 sentences and then my grandma's lawyer walked through the door that my dad stopped mid-sentence. My brother looked up. My dad said the lawyer's name like a question that my grandma's lawyer sat down, placed his briefcase on the table, and explained that he was there representing the interests of my grandma's estate and its named beneficiary. He said my grandma had established an irrevocable trust 8 years ago. He said the trust designated a single beneficiary for the entirety of her estate, the house, and approximately $620,000 in assets. Then he said my name. The room was very quiet. Yet my dad said that wasn't possible. That the will he had been working from named him as primary executor with full discretionary authority over distribution. My brother said the same thing. In lawyer language, I put the folder on the table. I didn't say much. I just told them the emails were dated. The account they came from was my grandma's, and that my grandma's lawyer had already reviewed them with his colleagues, that my brother pushed back from the table and left the room, that my dad sat very still for a long time. Then he said I had betrayed my family. I told him I had documented my family. My grandma's lawyer finished the meeting.
Oh my gosh, I didn't betray my family, I documented my family. Can we get that a billboard, please? That's life was absolutely hilarious. The frauder literary boldest out of the room, and the desk was left totally speechless. The fake will they were planning to use is completely useless now. But wait, what's it going to happen to the Brothers Law career now that the Rudy emails are out? And is that them really going to get kicked out of the Gemmar house? Let's get into the final of that because the 4 hour of this meeting is absolutely wild.
Update 2. Final, it's been about 2 months. Here's where everything landed as my dad lost any legal standing over my grandma's estate. The fake will, or the version he had been preparing, was never formally submitted because my grandma's lawyer had already filed the trust documents. There was nothing to contest without triggering a fraud investigation, which my dad's legal background meant he understood the implications of immediately. He had been living in my grandma's house for the last year, helping manage it, which had seemed reasonable at the time. The house is mine now. He moved out 3 weeks after the meeting. I haven't spoken to him since, as my brother was reported to the state bar. The emails were specific enough about his involvement in structuring the fraudulent document that the investigation didn't take long. He's been suspended from practicing for 6 months. I don't know what happens to his career after that. I haven't let myself think about it too much. I've been living in my grandma's house for 6 weeks now. The first thing I did was pay off the debt I've been carrying since I left law school. The second thing I did was register my own landscape design company. The third thing I did was start working on my grandma's garden, which had gotten overgrown while she was sick that it took me 3 weekends to clear it properly. I planted things she would have liked. I found her old garden notes in a box in the shed, decades of observations about what grew well and when and why, and I've been reading them in the evenings that my mom called me last week. She and my dad have been together for 32 years, and I don't fully know what's happening there. She didn't ask me to fix anything or take anything back. She just said she was sorry for the dinner, for the laughter, for all of it. She said she had watched things happen in that family for a long time and had told herself it wasn't her place to intervene and that she had been wrong, I told her I heard her. I told her I needed more time. I don't know what the relationship with my mom looks like going forward. I'm not ready to figure that out yet. What I keep thinking about is my grandma sitting in her garden 8 years ago, deciding quietly to set up a trust, decided to protect me from something I didn't even know was coming yet. She watched her son and her grandson, and she did the math and she made a plan. She left me a phone number on a piece of paper. She told me she had taken care of things that she had. She really had to bring receipts. Always bring receipts. Not the asshole, obviously, but I also think the question stopped being the most interesting part of this story somewhere. Around the moment my grandma's lawyer walked into that room and my dad said his name like a question he already knew the answer to long. Didn't read. My grandma's lawyer walked into the meeting. Irrevocable trust. $620,000 on the house, all mine. Established 8 years ago. I put the emails on the table. My brother left the room. My dad lost standing, lost the house, lost the family's respect. My brother is suspended for 6 months. I'm living in my grandma's house, running my own company, replanting her garden. My mom called and apologized. I told her I needed time. I'm okay.
Wow, what a legendary ending. They got suspended from the state board for 6 months. Goodbye, Korea. And the dad had to pack his bags and move out of the OP's new house. That's what I call Eastern karma. I was so irrevocably happy for our OP. She packed up her dad's, started her own Let's Get design company, and is now bringing her grandma overall get back to life. I literally got goosebumps when she mentioned reading her grandma's old garden notes in the evening. The Swiss grandma saw right through her son and grandson 8 years ago as she built the ultimate safety net, and the mom calling to apologize? It's a good step, but I totally respect OB for saying she needs more time. You can't just stand by. Let your kid get humiliated and expect things to be fine overnight. But Popcornrest bro, I have to ask you, would you have reported your own fraud to the state board, or would a suspension well deserve? And what should you plan first if you inherited that beautiful garden? Drop your dars in the comments. I can't wait to read them. If you love this story of ultimate karma and receipts, share that like burns and subscribe to Bob Cumbrom for this story. Drop your bobcore, keep your receipts, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.